How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. So we have entered the month of December, and it is the off season for NASCAR, and I actually wanted to, because I haven't done this recently in a very long time, where for longtime viewers of the channel, you guys would remember I would make like literally a race review after every race, and I would talk about real life NASCAR a lot, but I haven't been able to do that recently because, you know, race reviews don't, with the late start times, I haven't been able to really get them done. Sometimes I just don't even want to talk about it. But during the off season, I am making a, I don't know, like a promise to myself where I'm going to talk about these things. We're going to make a lot more real life NASCAR videos talking about what's going on in the sport, but not complaining. So there's one exception to this rule, okay? I am allowed to complain about 550 horsepower because it's stupid. It will always be stupid, and a NASCAR stock car should never be limited to a 550 horsepower, okay? It's just that simple. I'm going to complain about that. But for everything else, I don't want to complain about how a race might suck, or how this driver did this, or how NASCAR did this, and like I don't agree with that. I'm making a promise myself where instead we're going to look at solutions. So we're going to look at things that I think NASCAR could do differently without complaining about what they're doing now, because in reality I don't have a lot of complaints about what they're doing now. I just have a few major ones like 550 horsepower, but other than that, you know, and maybe the playoffs, but other than that, I don't have that many complaints with what they're doing. So I want to talk about some of the things that have come out specifically from Adam Stern, who is, I would say, the head Stern bomb, similar to Woj in the NBA. Like, he drops all this news. I don't know how he gets it. It's either NASCAR themselves provide him with that news, or it's the teams or someone. That's usually how this works. But I just want to talk more about the real life stuff. So you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to talk about multiple different things, and I'm going to make a video on Saturday about places NASCAR should go to. We're gonna touch on it in this video, but on Saturday I actually want to talk about 5 tracks that realistically, not like hypothetically or like dreaming, for example, North Wilkesboro, for example. I don't think NASCAR should go back North Wilkesboro. That's just my opinion. But 5 tracks that I think they should put on the schedule or should think about going to within the next decade to further enhance the sport. That will be Saturday. But for today, let's talk about some things. I want to give a shout out to all the Patreon members. If you notice the list might be lower, it's because we head into the new month. If you don't see your name on here, just get the whole $5 payment, the price of a Starbucks coffee figured out, and then your name will be right back on there. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. As we head into these months, like, January, February, March, this is where Patreon becomes really helpful for me, because obviously ad revenue from everything goes down a lot. So as you guys know how YouTube works, I rely on like a certain part of the year, and the other parts of the year is a little bit of a struggle. So I am doing this full time, so I want to thank you guys on the Patreon for always supporting the channel. It means a lot, seriously. So report number 1 from Adam Stern. It came a while ago. It came on November 22nd. Let's read it. NASCAR appears to be studying the futuristic idea of flying cars, as it has recently included it as an option in a question to its fan council about possible exhibition racing events. This comes as the company is getting set to launch Airspeeder HQ in 2022. Flying cars in the National Association of Stock Car. Is it National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing, or is it National American? I've always, all these years, I still don't know what NASCAR stands for exactly. But yeah, well, let me put it this way. This isn't about flying cars. This is about the fan council. And so, as I said, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to provide solutions. And number 1, the fan council. So I feel like if someone could relay this message to Steve Phelps, stop using the fan council as your PR motive, because it's very it paints the fan base as a bunch of idiots, to be honest. We're not idiots, like we aren't stupid. We know that you guys don't use that fan council, okay? We just know it. So this is like a larger thing I want to talk about, where I think Steve Phelps and specifically the whole PR of NASCAR can just do a lot better job. Is that sometimes they think we're stupid, so they say, just say it's the fan council. They'll be okay with it, right? But we don't fall for that. The fan council, if you guys don't know, you can, I think, sign up for it, honestly. NASCAR, it's a bunch of like fan members, however many thousand they are. And NASCAR provides you questions, but the questions are skewed completely to the answers that they want, and there's been plenty of examples of this. So they'll ask you a question, right? Let's just, for example, horsepower, but they won't include the answer that you might want to put. They'll always include answers that revolve around the answer that they want, right? So this fan council thing is a load of garbage. I don't really know who runs it, in terms of whoever in NASCAR does. But my bigger thing is the PR. When Steve Phelps is doing PR, he has to speak well about the sport. We all know how that goes. You have to speak well about your own company. But just how do I explain this? It doesn't feel real when they talk about NASCAR, to us, because and this has been happening a lot recently. They always mention the fan council as their excuse for the fans say they want this, and you can't use that. First of all, you should always take in account what fans say, but fans should never fully decide what you want to do. Talk about Steve Phelps, you as president, you and your shareholders or teams and owners, you guys should determine what you want to do within your organization. Drivers should have a say in this. Fans should have a say, but they shouldn't run everything. And there was a time in NASCAR where they really did. Like, fans complained about one thing a ton, and NASCAR would change it for that, and they change it again, and they change it again. And I think finally maybe they're starting to realize, like, okay, fans will always complain no matter what, so let's find a plan and find a vision and focus on that vision. But then they use the fan council to divert everything and PR this, PR that, fan council this, fan council that, and it just comes off every time I read it. I'm like, you think I'm dumb? You think, as a fan of NASCAR, you think I'm really stupid that I would believe this nonsense. So, yeah, flying cars will not happen, guys. Don't worry about that. When hybrid engines come in, don't worry, fans will complain about that too, and everyone should expect that. When hybrid engines come in and the cars sound different, and they don't maybe sound as NASCAR-ish, as like screaming little, engines, they won't sound like that. It's going to be the same thing F1 went through when F1 lost their V8s and they had to go to the V6 and the hybrid engine. It sounded terrible. Like, it's going to be the same thing. And I promise you, NASCAR fans are going to throw a hissy fit about it and people are going to get very upset. But if you're NASCAR, you just kind of got to stay the ground. For example, just the PR. Just figure out a way to get the PR down, because it's getting a little bit annoying now. Number 2, let's talk about Nashville. So there are some pictures I'll put up on the screen right now. There are some pictures of Nashville that they're trying to get renovated. I think it's by 2024 is the year that they're trying to get it done. But there are some renderings, and every time I see renderings, I know that it usually won't look like that, but it'll look pretty close. And it looks really good. Now, I will admit, there will never be a reason for me to go to Nashville. That's just not who I am. I'm sorry. But this is really cool. And I actually like the fact that it looks like they have like a little, I don't know if that's a go-kart track they put in the infield. So one thing that NASCAR needs to really focus on with their tracks is fan engagement. So obviously we lost, a lot of the pre-race fan engagement. We all know, like 10, 15 years ago, you had the Home Depot area, what was it? The Home Depot pre-race. I even forgot the name. Speed Channel hosted it. The NASCAR race day. Yeah, NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot. That's how long it's been that I forgot. But that was in the not the infield, but outside the track, and a lot of fans gathered around, and it created that atmosphere. Now you go to races and there's none of that. There's none of that pre-race atmosphere. You have the merchandise haulers, you have food and stuff, but most of that pre-race atmosphere is kind of gone. And even in the infields of most racetracks, there's nothing that gets you really excited for the race. Like, most of the time you head to a track, you spend an hour walking around, and like, you're just kind of walking around. There's nothing really to do. So just the fact of having a just like a go-kart track in the infield is just really cool. I promise you that'd be one of the busiest areas of the infield during a race weekend. And so I like the fact that Nashville is looking like, in these renderings, they're focusing on fan engagement, because I think a lot of tracks could do a lot better job with that, and hopefully hopefully these new tracks that are being renovated or stuff will focus on this, and maybe Texas can renovate themselves again and fix that stuff too. But well, that's a story for another day. But yeah, the renderings of the Nashville Fairgrounds looks really good, and I'm hoping that they can go there. It's a short track. It's in Nashville. A lot of fans would be there. I think the seats would be 30,000. So I agree with everything that's being done there, and hopefully they can do it. Hopefully they can, all based off those renderings, build all that, have enough money from wherever the money's coming from, whether it's the state or whoever's funding that, and get it done. And hopefully Nashville becomes a really good place for NASCAR. That'd be very nice. The third story is RPM. which is selling their majority stake to GMS, which is expected. Richard Petty Motorsports has been fraudulent for a very long time. They've never been very good. So GMS, I don't watch a lot of Xfinity and trucks, but I've always heard GMS, you know, they're in there. They're a big team there, and they're coming to Cup Series. They have 2 charters now, and this is going to be good for them. So I'm not really going to touch more upon that because it's just kind of news and good. Sorry, Richard Petty. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this because I want to make a whole video about, you know, tracks I want to see NASCAR go to. But Adam tweeted out yesterday that for NASCAR, they quote this: "Our international team thinks about how we might take NASCAR to other countries. There aren't that many already available racetracks in other countries, but there are a lot of these big venues for soccer." And this was something very interesting and something I'm actually very passionate about because, as you guys see, you know, Arsenal fan. I love Europe. I absolutely love Europe, the UK, Italy, you know, Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, all those, just the main aspects of Europe. I'm definitely a big fan. Okay, I love that area. I want to go visit. And obviously, I really like F1 as well, and they have a lot of races over in Europe. And this has been a topic that has never really been talked about recently, is NASCAR going international, because NASCAR is American-based. Their whole fan base is usually in America. But I do want to point out that, you know, there are subscribers of mine that are from around the world. There are a lot of NASCAR fans that are from around the world. And all you have to just look at the NFL. The NFL is not that popular in England. But you take a few games there a year, and it's packed out in Wembley Stadium, right? And what this quote says, like, you know, there's not many racetracks available, but there's big venues in soccer. So what they're talking about is Wembley Stadium or the new Tottenham Stadium. Essentially what they're doing at the LA Coliseum is going to determine, like, whether they can do this internationally. So building a racetrack within the football stadium and having fans come out. I wouldn't agree with that. I think let's see how the LA Coliseum thing goes, but I don't want to take NASCAR and put them in football stadiums. No offense, it's just not that it comes across as like a circus, kind of like a joke. Like, this is professional motorsport, and it just feels like a circus. We're going into a football stadium where we're building this very tiny track, which is just going to be a ton of wrecks, and it's just very odd. I do agree with NASCAR going internationally, which is why I'm going to save, you know, most of what I'm talking about for Saturday. But just for example, Silverstone. Why can't NASCAR race at Silverstone? An exhibition race at Silverstone. Road courses are becoming prominent. Fans like road courses. Silverstone would be a track that fits a stock car well. It's high speed. It has some slow corners, but a lot of high speed corners. Braking zones. It would work really well. So it's in England. It's a country that you can exploit to see how many people would come over to support an exhibition race. You can do it before the Daytona 500. You could do it at the end of a season. You can host a 1 week break and then go to an all-star race in the UK. Get everyone a week off and then go to the all-star race and then come back and race back in America. These are things that I think NASCAR should really think about and should really explore doing, because even though NASCAR is American-based, and yes, they need to focus on building their American base and continuing, because they've lost a lot of it, so you have to continue to stabilize it and build it back up. But there is a lot of potential for Europe to take NASCAR over to Europe just for like an all-star race or an exhibition race. The all-star race already at Texas is pointless, so I would not mind, you know, taking this thing internationally and letting international fans visit. And trust me, people from Germany and people from Portugal, from Spain, from Italy, like there are fans of NASCAR over there. I know it sounds crazy, but there are. And enough of them will travel over with England, you promote it right, and people will go to Silverstone to watch NASCAR. They've never watched NASCAR before because it's never been over there. They will watch. I guarantee you that a large crowd would come out to Silverstone. But if you put it in like Wembley Stadium, like, and you just build a little tiny racetrack and put it in Wembley, that's not NASCAR. It just feels like a circus. So that's what I don't want. Hopefully they take it to Silverstone. We'll talk about that more on Saturday, but that's gonna be it for me. Let me know what you think about these 4 topics that I talked about today, and let me know if you want to see more of this style of video where again, we're not complaining, we're just trying to look at what NASCAR are thinking about and maybe offer solutions, you know, things that you can do, except for flying cars. Yeah, Don't really know how you provide a solution to that, because no one's really done that, and I think we're pretty much like 50 years away from that. But hey, you never know. Take care of yourselves, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Subscribe for new, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. If you want to support the channel, guys, there's one way to do it. Well, there's a free way to do it. Just continue watching the videos. That's actually the best way to do it. But if you want to support directly to the channel, Patreon link is in the description below. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about all these different topics. And I'll see you again tomorrow and then Saturday as well. See you guys later. Peace out.